Hello and welcome back to Up the Villa podcast. How are we all doing? I hope we're all good. Again, here we go. Justin, partner in crime. He's free. He's on. He loves it. He's back. Absolutely love it. But we all deserve a round of applause. We all deserve a happy anniversary. We should be sending each other cards to each other, to everybody saying happy anniversary, because it's 1 year since Steven Gerrard was sacked as Aston Villa manager. And I've got to say, it has probably been the best year of supporting Aston Villa I have had, quite possibly in all my life as a Villa fan, because we've had success in my lifetime, but I've been too young to fully invest. I mean, as you all know, I am fully invested in Aston Villa. So it's just the best. It feels amazing. Club on and off the pitch, signings, going to Villa Park, watching winning football week after week after week, watching European football. When Steven Gerrard got the sack, nobody could have predicted this. Not even Up the Villa podcast's most optimistic fan, Justin, could have predicted this. So,
I wouldn't have.
I think before we get into Unai Emery's presser, I think we just need to just have a little chat about the gaffer. He's fast approaching a year in the job. So it's been mad, hasn't it, Justin?
It's been a roller coaster of a year, but always since that day, it's always been up, hasn't it? So I think we've got to be very grateful. I put a little tweet out earlier, actually. We've got a lot to thank Fulham Football Club for. Twice now they've beat us, and twice those defeats to Fulham, whilst at the time felt awful, they've both led to massive, cataclysmic events happening at Villa. They've triggered events that have led us to where we are today. That playoff final defeat felt like the end of the world, didn't it, when we lost 1-0 to them? But that set into play the events that led to the NSWE takeover eventually, which led to the Premier League return, which led to great times getting promoted, and then that defeat to Fulham 12 months ago today led to eventually, again, the hiring of the master, Unai Emery. So I'd like to extend my gratitude to Fulham Football Club today, I think, for putting us where we are today. But yeah, it's been a great year, hasn't it? One of the best years following Villa, really. On the pitch, it's been incredible. The turnaround, and I'm not going to say it's all down to Unai Emery. I'd say 90% of it is, if I'm honest. But there's been a lot gone on off the field, hasn't there, to help him. He doesn't. It's not just him. He's got a backroom team that have helped. He's had the massive backing of the owners, and off the field, everything's been put in place that he wants to put us where we are today. And it's not over yet, is it? We've got a lot of places to climb still yet. So long may it continue, mate.
Definitely, absolutely loving life as a Villa fan. Some other news that's come out from the club today: Zaniolo is training with Aston Villa. He's available for Sunday. They've not really gave too much away. It's sort of like Zaniolo's sort of working with the Italian Federation, etc., and sort of assisting for whatever needs to happen. But it does feel like he's okay-ish, touch wood. Tonali sort of came out and he looked like he was in big trouble from the start. Zaniolo looks like I don't think he's done anything. If anything, it's just blackjack. So, it's one to keep an eye on, but he is available for Sunday, which is just massive for Villa because, again, with our injuries, we can't really afford to have anybody else out. In other news, Unai clipboard shot this week. We saw that. Regular viewers will know that was something that I really enjoy seeing him walk out with that clipboard. So we'll go through what Unai Emery said, and then we'll just try and break it down and gather thoughts as and when, really. So Unai has said, I enjoyed the international break. I needed as well to take a rest moment with family and friends. I was following our players. I am very happy for Ollie Watkins. So I think he has gone back to Spain because he's come back with a fresh trim. And it looks like he's as a hair expert, by the way, someone that's worked for Tony and Guy. Well, I used to work for Tony and Guy for 15 odd years. It's not basically a British haircut. I don't think it's something that like a British hairdresser would do. It looks a Spanish vibe. So I think he's gone home and had a fresh haircut. Because what I think normally happens with his hair, sorry, Justin, is that he has it cut and then he grows it. And basically, he grows it because I don't think anyone here can cut it how he likes it. That's why he grows it. So if you look at his style now and compare it to when he sometimes has it cut over here, it don't look like this. And this is his trim that he likes. So so that's my expert opinion on Unai's haircut. So I think he's had a good cut.
I think we missed a trick here on this podcast because what we should be doing is his hair ratings from Luke Robinson. We should have gone through the whole squad and given all ratings out of 10 with your knowledge of haircuts and styles. So what are you going to give Unai's hair rating out of 10?
I don't mind it. I like it, but I think he goes a bit too clean cut around his ears.
It suits him, though, doesn't it?
It does, but it's a bit too clean cut on the sides for how long the sides are.
So you're saying you'd like to get your hands on it then?
Yeah, he needs a bit more length so he can like slick it back a bit.
Right, okay.
That's what I think he likes, but he don't get that look when he has it cut here.
I mean, one thing I certainly can't do is give comment on hair, can I really?
Well, I mean, you used to have hair, so
yeah, a long time ago.
You got a beard as well. So yeah, so he's gone home, he's refreshed, he's revitalized. He looks really happy in his pictures as well. So that's good to see. On McGinn for him, for the national team, for Austin McPhee, I am very happy for them. So like we were saying the other day, it's been a real good international break for our international players. McGinn, Tielemans, Kamara, Pau Torres, Watkins have all qualified for the Euros as well, so that's huge. Pau Torres knows me and I know him, and I believe in his potential. His qualities and his skills are very important. The adaptation of Pau is really going very well. So, you know, when we sort of like taking pieces from what Unai says, it's important to look at the key wording of what he says here. And he's saying the adaptation of Pau is going very well. So I'm reading that there's plenty more to come and that he's really happy with him. But, you know, I have been very, very impressed with Pau Torres. One of my favourite Villa players at the minute as well. So, great that he got his goal. He's going to have to work at this in transition because I know Unai spoke about in this presser as well that he said that West Ham are one of the best teams in transition in the league. And we got caught against Wolves. And it was a very frustrating goal for us to concede because it's a goal that we all knew was going to come because we know that Neto down that right-hand side is Wolves' biggest threat. And against West Ham, we know that on that right-hand side, Bowen is a massive threat for West Ham. So we've sort of had our sort of warm-up to how West Ham play on that right-hand side. So I just think we need to brush up on that transition because I think it's important to say again that we're going to have a lot of the ball on Sunday and they're going to want us to lose the ball, us to overcommit and get caught. So we've got to be cautious here. But Pau Torres, Justin, you know, how impressed have you been?
Yeah, exceptional, really. I think, you know, and like you've highlighted there, that word is the most important word. I think the adaptation. he has had to adapt to a new way of playing. He spent all his life in La Liga, hasn't he? And coming over to the Premier League, it is more physical, it is quicker, and the way he plays the game, there was always that danger that he was going to get caught in possession because he does like to put his foot on the ball. He does like to turn away from people. He does like to find that little bit of space so he can get his head up and have a look for a ball, for a pass. So all these things, Unai would have had to sit him down and talk him through. Yes, we brought you for these attributes. This is why we've brought you to the club, because of the way you play football, the way you can pick a pass, the calmness on the ball, all these things that he's exceptional at doing. They have to adapt to a different style of football, which is the Premier League, isn't it? And I think he's done really, really well. Yes, there has been times when he's got caught a couple of times on the ball, or he's tried that through ball through like to through into the midfield, into the forwards, and it's been picked off. But he's learning all the time, and he's improving all the time, and he's already at a high level anyway. He came in at a high level. So once he's really, really got up to speed, which he's probably not far away from doing now, playing week in, week out in the Premier League, he's an intelligent man, obviously. So I'm sure he's learning every single game. So if this isn't the best Pau Torres, and we've got a better one on the way, then we've signed some player, haven't we? Put it like that.
Yeah.
So exceptional, and obviously him being in and around the Spain squad, playing at that elite level as well. It's great, isn't it? It's great to see so many of our players representing their countries, and not only just on the international stage, now at finals of major tournaments. It makes it more interesting for us, doesn't it, when we get there to watch all these players play.
Yeah, it's absolutely massive. So Emery's also been speaking about the record-breaking winning sequence, and he said, we are not thinking about what we did, we are thinking about what we can do and how we can approach the next match. He has spoke about Villa Park. Villa Park is special. Each match is a big challenge to keep the same level. Always, we must be very demanding to improve, and I think that's just Unai in a nutshell, isn't he? He's not a manager that rests. He's not a manager that just sort of looks back and sort of thinks, okay, we did good here, but, we live off that moment. He's about sort of the next challenge and striving for, success. And, without sort of getting too far ahead of ourselves, the next 4 fixtures in the Premier League are really, really important for Villa. Like massively important, and they're so important because we're on the cusp of, we're still doing something special, but we're on the cusp of something special here now this season. And even though we've got these injuries and etc., the next 4 games against West Ham, Luton, Forest, and Fulham, if we can replicate anything like what we've just done in the last international sort of set fixtures before the international break, we are going to be literally right up the top end of this Premier League table. So I think for me now, this is a real big opportunity, and I just hope now that we are dialed in for the next 4 games, because, if we can come out of this well, then we're going to be like firing on all cylinders here. So, Unai, one game at a time, but there's a great opportunity, and I think we've got to grasp it. What are you saying, Justin?
Yeah, I agree with everything you're saying. The international break, I think, is very, very important for Unai, for him personally as a man, because of his intensity, because of the way he goes about his job at Villa. We've all seen it. He's there 24/7, basically. He's switched on all the time. He's there till late at night. That light's never off in his office. His laptop's on the minute a game's finished. It's probably on the minute he wakes up in the morning on his bed with his cup of coffee. So I think it's important that whilst these breaks are very frustrating for us fans because we just want to see our team play, I think it's really important he gets time to go away and spend time with his family and to decompress a little bit. I've no doubt whatsoever that when he's at home with his family, he's got the laptop on his kitchen table talking to his missus probably, and she's saying, do you really have to look at that at this moment? Because that's the type of bloke he is, isn't it? But yeah, so he's back, he's at it. Like you say, this next run of fixtures in the Premier League, especially, gives us a huge opportunity, you know. And I think that the first one of those four is the most important, and I think it probably is the most difficult on paper. You know, West Ham are a different kettle of fish this season to what their league form was last season, so he'll be more than aware of that. And coming back from the break, going into the first game back, we want to put a marker down. We want to, you know, our home form has been absolutely phenomenal. Some of the best home form I've probably ever seen in my time following Villa. So we want to start back after the break in the same mode. And if we can get that win on Sunday, which I hope we can, I think it sets us up lovely for Luton next week for the just Premier League games. Obviously, we've got cup games in the middle of all this. Forest away is a tricky one, but then we come back with Fulham. You know, a real opportunity to put a lot of points on the board here. And then coming up to Christmas with one or two tricky fixtures against, you know, some of the perceived big boys, you know, coming up as well. Not only will it give us the confidence to go into those games positionally and mentally, it will give us that little springboard to put ourselves in a really, really good position going in, even into the January transfer window, where we'll probably want to add one or two as well. And you've got these, you know, real elite players now that we're going to be looking at, and they just have a quick glance at the Premier League table, thinking, "What am I going to here?" And they're seeing Villa in the top four of the Premier League. Then that's huge. You know, that's a huge thing for people to be seeing. So do not underestimate the importance of league positioning, even at this young part of the season. We're still really only not even nowhere near halfway through yet, are we? So it's important to put ourselves in a position of strength, and that's hopefully what these next four games will do.
And I think the final thing that I would touch on is that, you know, when I do these sort of like opposition sort of pieces and look at teams tactically, there's not really too many teams like Villa that sort of change how they play and different subtle tactics here and there. I was watching Tifo this morning talking about Brighton, and they've done another episode on like the Zerbi ball and how they play and how fantastic they are at playing and all of this, and they've bigged them up again massively. And I just came away thinking about, but you missed the most important part. You missed the part about the team that smashed them 6-1 and showed you how you can sort of like rip up their tactics and tactically dishevel them. And that is what we are capable of doing. So when teams like West Ham prepare for Villa, they'll probably might maybe see little like chinks in our defense that they might be able to like get at. But how do you prepare to face Villa? Because even we don't know what the formations. We don't even know what the formations are going to be. We don't know what some players are going to play with. You know, and that's the beauty of setting up and playing against Villa. The fact that we're so unpredictable because we can just do anything with Unai Emery. So I think it's massive. And like what my general point is that we're a difficult side to play against because you don't know what you're going to get. And I think that's a beauty of what we are and where we are, really. So we'll end it there then. So that's the press conference from Unai Emery. Next episode from us, I'm going to the women's game tomorrow, so I'll vlog it. I'll give you a bit of an insight of what goes on there and my thoughts on the game. So you can have some women's Villa content. And then on Sunday, we'll have fan cams in the usual place. Justin's told me that the weather's going to be good. So that is good news for me. Enjoy it if you are going to the game, and come and see us on the fan cams. Come and have your say and get involved. Up the Villa.
Up the Villa.